The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello and welcome to TV1 News. I'm Maricela Kelaton.
And I'm Rex Lita. Join me later for sports.
In this edition, call to action for leadership and innovation. PNG hosts Financial Inclusion Policy Forum, and a healthy race for Rimbu's replacement is on. Sakwanam Junior Primary School within the Ramoniko Project Corridor welcomed a new double classroom. On the 15th of this month, a delegation led by Ramoniko's Community Affairs General Manager Eric Kuman on behalf of the developers helped open the new facility funded by Ramoniko's Community Development Fund.
Sakwanam Junior Primary School, located in Ward 3 of Raikos District in Medang Province, is a recipient of a new double classroom funded under the Ramoniko Community Development Fund. Ramoniko has been working closely with landowner associations to invest in the future of the district with more focus on education.
19 LLG inside Medang Province, and we receiving close to 44 million royalty dish out from this Ramoniko project. No got one evidence any stable ground to show that money. I am challenging you, LLG, not only in Raikos district, but in Ushinabundi, in Bogia, Sumka, you must put in this money to use. It is for the people.
Kuman said between 2020 and 2024, a total of 1,500,000 was allocated by the company to its Community Development Fund. 25 projects were funded from that. 19 have been successfully completed, with 6 still being worked on. Kuman said Ramoniko's Community Affairs Department has been working closely with respective landowner association committees to better equip the communities during the lifespan of the mine. He said while the new classroom building is just the infrastructure, it contributes a lot to teaching and learning. Every building project goes through a vetting process. The new double classroom at Sakwanam is the first modern classroom for a government-owned school in the area.
Ramoniko project, Emi set him record that Emi give him royalty Igolo LLG. No got one mind, Emi give him royalty Igolo LLG.
Minister for Labour and Raikos MP Kesi Sawang also attended the event. She was proud to say that office accessories for the new double classroom was provided by the Raikos District Development Authority. Minister Sawang urged LLG presidents in the district to utilize their royalties wisely and with caution. She also thanked Ramoniko for the partnership in getting this infrastructure implemented. Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
Many community-based organizations, church groups and individuals who are working behind the scenes in rural areas in Papua New Guinea to provide care to victims of gender-based violence, sorcery accusation-related violence, or any other violence have been providing this service for years without no support from the government. The Secretary for the Department of Justice and Attorney General Dr. Eric Kwa said this during the launch of the Community Justice Fund, a program under the Australia-Papua New Guinea Law and Justice Partnership. Kwa said although the grant support by the Australian government will boost the work they do, it is still not enough to support them with the essential resources they need to continue providing services to these victims. Therefore, he also called on the government to support them in this space.
For the years that I've been at the Department of Justice, from our partners who supported us in the SARP space, they're trying to rescue women, they're trying to rescue children, but they need money to move these survivors to safety. They need money to support them to put together the evidence to prosecute the perpetrators. Unfortunately, the Department of Justice doesn't give out money. We don't have the money to give out. And I'm pretty sure that Ms. Company, who's here looking after the GBV Secretariat, and one of our champions is standing there, the governor of NCD, in the GBV space. There's a lot of our friends who are out there doing work, but don't know what support. I was having a discussion with the environmental defenders. They also do a lot of work out there risking their lives, but no support from anyone, including the government.
The United Church Congregation in the West Port Moresby Circuit Tatana Hosanna 4 and Araira Anidera welcomed two special guests from the Cook Islands to cut ribbons and unveil two monuments in each church to commemorate the anniversary of 150 years since the arrival of the first London Missionary Society missionaries onto their shores in 1874. The week-long celebration started on the 17th and will end on the 23rd of this month.
The 150 years anniversary of the arrival of the London Missionary Society on Tatana Island was observed with various activities. The week-long celebration, which started on November 17th, was celebrated by both Tatana Hosanna 4 and Araira Anidera United Churches.
So privileged to have come this far, 150 years when our first missionary arrived on the shores of our island. It was in 1874. So we had an official opening on Sunday, the 17th, to have 1 week celebration to commemorate 150 years of the arrival of the gospel into Tatana village. And it was through those years that we were able to have the word which grew, and after 150 years, this is what the fruit of what they have, the seed they have planted on the island. This is the fruit of what transpired.
The celebration was attended by Mark Uka, an 8th-generation relative of the first missionary, and evangelist Kenneth Ben. Both guests from Titikaweka village in the Cook Islands arrived on Friday, November 15th. They helped cut the ribbons and unveil the 150 years anniversary monument.
2 days, what is we are memorial, what for remember for 1874. So those missionaries came to Tatana and Araira, and then the old people got the good news at that time until now, and we work under one church, Tatana, and after name Araira, put name Araira inside the Tatana congregation, and two congregations work together.
Uka and Ben also traveled on the 19th to Kalo village in Rigo Central Province to visit the gravesite of the late LMS missionary Anidera, who was killed and buried there. Pile Joanna, TVWAN News.
Two members of the Vanuatu Mobile Force are the first participants from the region to complete a leadership course with the PNG Defence Force Directorate for Leader Development. Deputy Chief of Defence Brigadier General Oppa impressed on the participants that a key takeaway was on understanding systems of an organization. He further encouraged the participants to cultivate the network they have created through the course, as it would help them to exchange ideas and create a regional community.
That network, because one of the key things out of this course is about networking, is about collaboration. So you should maintain that, because if you lose it, then you never know. One day that person you were once in the room with today is the head of his own, the mobile force in one country.
With a call to action for leadership and innovation in shaping the future of Papua New Guinea, the National Youth Parliament commenced in Port Moresby this week, bringing together 60 young leaders under the theme Youth Leading Change through Civic Engagement for Social Impact and Sustainable Development. Today, the young leaders undertook a full-day simulation of parliamentary proceedings, debates and resolutions. The 60 young leaders in the lead-up to today's simulation underwent a week-long intensive leadership training that calls on young people to be at the forefront of creating innovative solutions for challenges in governance, transparency, accountability and community development, ultimately guiding Papua New Guinea into a future of social equity, resilience and prosperity. The program saw the young leaders imitate a mock parliament today and how laws and bills are tabled and passed on the floor of the national parliament and its roles and functions. With a call to action for leadership and innovation in shaping the future of Papua New Guinea, Director for Civic Education at the National Parliament, Morgan Guangilo, says this program is essential towards the education of the young 60 leaders.
Period for them to exercise that, and in that way we train young men and women to be good leaders. Very happy with what has transpired today. And so they will go back with fond memories of what happens on the floor of Parliament.
The young people this week have undergone an experience, an exercise and a celebration of their potential to enact change and to connect with each other as allies in advocacy.
I came here to be the voice of my community back in Morobe province, where I came from. There's a lot of issues affecting youths, especially in our communities. So I'm here as their voice to voice out their problems and to address those issues, to come up with solutions to those problems.
Because what we've learned throughout the week, Vision 2050 is ours.
Like it's a bonus and it's a blessing also to my career. So I engage with local civic society, as PNC Family Health Association, back in Leh as a youth officer. So being here is it's a bonus for me. And
I've learned that a female has a bigger role to play in our society, though know that they still have the brain like men. So as participating in the program like this, I see that girls have the minds. They can change the country.
The future of Papua New Guinea is bright. It's confident, it's informed, well-spoken, and most of all, kind. The participants of the National Youth Parliament 2024 all express great hopes towards their efforts to building for the future. This is TVWAN News. After the break, accountants gather for better results and village addresses issues. Stay tuned.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase EasyPay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Lager, Punyam Yumi.
Open nets.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo in milk taste and added nutrients, Milo in milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Pine PNG made.
Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi trupla. All get a young planalapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
Welcome back. Innovation, simply put, is solving problems in a creative way. That's what innovation is. Andrew Wilkins of Business Advantage International said this during a meeting with the Port Moresby Chamber of Commerce and Industry to promote an innovation culture and the technology to get there. The Innovation 2025 Summit coming up early next year will provide a platform for more discussion on creating an innovative culture.
At the Stanley Hotel this week, co-host of the Business Innovation Meet, Andrew Wilkins of Business Advantage International, explained the reason for the series of events which will cultivate an innovation culture with necessary technologies in Papua New Guinea.
What we want to do is create an event which encourages people to look at the challenges around them, whether it's in their workplace or at their home or in their business or in their government department or in their educational institution, and say to themselves, I feel empowered to creatively innovate to fix the problems around me.
Wilkins expressed that PNG's problems can only be fixed by people who live here. So in this event, they want to promote and encourage an innovation culture in the country.
We also want the event because, of course, so much of what we innovate today with is technology-based, to create an event which provides a focus to actually look at how PNG can embrace technology effectively.
The event in 2023 attracted a lot of big and important companies like Facebook, Google, and MasterCard. However, Wilkins said it is important to look at what's actually happening on the ground.
We want to acknowledge and reward and give attention to the innovations that are already happening in PNG. And believe me, there are lots of them. When we ran the Innovation PNG Awards last year, we had about 70 entries for the awards across government, small business and large business.
Wilkins is encouraging the government and the private sector to get behind and support the Innovation 2025 Summit. Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
The Bank of Papua New Guinea, on behalf of the Green Finance Center, has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the International Finance Corporation and the Securities Commission of Papua New Guinea to establish the foundations of a thematic bond market in PNG and to develop the next version of BPNG's inclusive green finance taxonomy. The initiative will open pathways for private sector investments into projects that benefit local communities, promote sustainable development at grassroots levels, create green jobs, and reduce PNG's carbon footprint. It is expected that both key deliverables of the MOU will be finalized within the year 2025. Papua New Guinea, for the first time, hosted the 2024 Financial Inclusion Policy Forum today at the APEC House in the nation's capital. The forum, facilitated by the Center for Excellence in Financial Inclusion, brought together key financial institutions to discuss key issues relating to accessibility and inclusivity of finance.
The 2024 Financial Inclusion Policy Forum, facilitated by CEFI this morning, brought together policymakers, developers and stakeholders to network, collaborate and drive meaningful solutions. They explored policies and innovations that can accelerate financial inclusion, hear from market leaders, learn from best practitioners, and engage in meaningful discussions aimed at creating a financial ecosystem for the people of Papua New Guinea.
The issue or challenge around digital that people were talking about was how to ensure that new technologies and new ideas benefit everyone. The second noteworthy aspect of our Global Policy Forum was that conversations were no longer focusing on access, but on usage. The four big issues will have particular resonance for this audience.
According to Dr. Eliki Bolewata, Director for Alliance for Financial Inclusion, the forum focused more on four important issues: the disruptive potential of digital technology, access to banking services, women's financial inclusion, and climate change. Bank of Papua New Guinea's Assistant Governor for Financial System Innovation and Development Group, George Hawab, said academic research by the bank shows some of the most demanding needs for financial inclusion in the country. One that stood out is the gender gap in accessibility to finance. Bringing together like-minded individuals in this space will create light in bridging that gap.
Academic research conducted by the bank, which will be revealed in the intercourse, will show some of the most demanding needs for financial inclusion in the country.
The Deputy Secretary of the Department of National Planning and Monitoring, Michael Kumang, said the challenge of improving the quality of livestock and ensuring that farmers in the remote areas of PNG are recognized and access to market for people in the rural areas is still a challenge for this country. He is hopeful that dialogue of discussion in terms of how to make accessibility to financial constraints for people in the remotest part of Papua New Guinea must be a key priority of discussion in this forum.
Of how we can really connect the unbanked, connect the people who have been and who are living in the remotest part of our country, to bring them into the mainstream of financial connectivity.
Tracy Pa, TV1 News.
Meanwhile, the forum concluded with an awards program this evening. The Financial Inclusion Excellence Award will be presented to financial institutions in the categories of financial inclusion and deepening financial innovation, inclusive green finance, financial inclusive new player, financial inclusive media contribution, financial inclusive advocate, and financial engagement. And now the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at 0.25 to $1 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was buying $0.2446 $, 0.3730 Australian dollars, 0.2261 euro, and 37.47 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, coffee, cocoa, crude oil, and copper closed higher. The rest closed the day lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, ASX closed higher, and all ordinaries closed higher as well. This is TV1 News. We'll have more news after the break. Stay with us.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSP branch today to register now for BSP Mobile Banking. BSP Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
Hiya, Mama. You wait then, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magic kakaru, get up a big smile on face. Time for kimchi and a great kumutu. Sip, sip, the moo, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves.
Enjoying life when we work together, making happy memories that last forever. Hot in talk, young or old, a scale-raised family meal with home. We'll bring out the smiles, cause it's our favorite from us. Tennessee Cola, scale rice on scale price. Tennessee Cola, scale rice on scale price. Amber, you like it?
Rugby League is a powerful force that unites Papua New Guinea and develops our youth. Through partnerships with the PNG LNG Kumals, Grassroots Rugby League and Justin Olam, we aim to instill skills to last a lifetime.
I'm community blue. When it's on you welcome, I'm come up community. You must not community.
When we invest in people, we invest in tomorrow's possibilities.
Kumul Petroleum is a major regional petroleum industry player involved in large-scale upstream, midstream and downstream petroleum and energy developments in the country. We are committed to ensuring that Papua New Guineans maximize benefits from the petroleum and energy sector.
Welcome back. In regional news, hundreds of Antarctic scientists at an emergency summit in Hobart have issued a statement calling for urgent action to deal with the climate crisis.
Last week, there's been about 450 polar researchers that have been holding a conference at the University of Tasmania. It's the first such conference in more than a decade, and they've described it as an emergency summit, and that's because we've seen some very rapid and extreme changes taking place in Antarctica in recent times. So there have been heat waves where the temperature has been about 40 degrees above average. There's been record low sea ice levels. Last year, scientists were describing it as a once in 7.5 million year event, and yet we've seen similar sea ice levels this year again. And so all of this is a sign of global warming, and that leads to, of course, to sea levels to rise. And the scientists at this conference have issued a statement saying nowhere on Earth is there a greater cause for uncertainty in sea level projections than in East Antarctica. And that's, of course, the area where the Australian Antarctic Territory is. And they say there's enough ice there, if it were to all melt, to raise global sea levels by 50 metres. And they say that would have immense implications for Australia's infrastructure and coastline. Here's a little of what one of the researchers had to say.
We throw around the word unprecedented quite a lot in climate science, but it really is true. We have seen shifts in the sea ice that were beyond our wildest imaginations. We have seen heat waves that were 40 degrees warmer than expected weather. We have seen entire colonies of emperor penguins lose all of their young in a breeding season. To describe it as anything other than an emergency sells these drastic changes short.
What they want to see is an immediate reduction in carbon in the atmosphere. They say that unless greenhouse gas emissions can be reduced, it'll really lock in some of these potential sea level rises for future generations. And they also want to see research prioritised to ensure that we really get a clear picture of what's taking place and what we can expect. Here's what a couple of the early career researchers who were involved in the drafting of this statement had to say.
I think one of the clear things from this conference was that we are approaching some tipping points that we're not sure whether we can reverse or not. So more funding into those areas is pretty crucial to understand how it's going to affect our planet.
I feel that although there's lots of tipping points that we don't necessarily understand completely, we do know enough to say that we do need to protect, we do need to control our emissions, and for that to happen, it needs to go beyond the walls of the university. We need to make sure people understand that and really relate to Antarctica in a way that they see that impacts their future as well.
So those researchers there really saying that there's no time to waste when it comes to taking action in relation to climate change and specifically in relation to Antarctica.
A multi-day climate protest at Newcastle's coal port has begun, despite the New South Wales government's efforts to stop it.
Morning on Newcastle's Horseshoe Beach as part of a multi-day protest action, protesting mainly against coal exports from the Port of Newcastle. Now, the Port of Newcastle is the world's largest coal port. It exports more coal than anyone anywhere else in the world. So that's why these climate activists have chosen to hold this multi-day action here in Newcastle. Now, we are hearing from police here on the beach this morning. There are a number of officers here who are reminding these protesters about safety. The New South Wales Police Force was successful in a Supreme Court bid to prevent protesters who are due to take the water in kayaks, canoes and other watercraft, that they aren't able to enter the waterway and the shipping channel in specific. They are able to enter some areas of the waterway but have to keep a safe distance from the coal ships and other ships that we see, like the one behind me. So there are constant reminders coming from police here on the beach this morning, reminding them of their safety obligations and warning protesters that if they do breach that, they could be arrested and could face charges. Protesters here this morning have said that this action is necessary. They are demanding more action from the New South Wales government on coal and stopping new approvals for things like coal mines, several of which have happened in the Hunter region recently. And the New South Wales government has really echoed the New South Wales Police Force's calls to be safe in this protest action. And the police force and the New South Wales government, though, have recognised that these protesters do have the right to protest against what they value, but they must do it safely.
For the first time, an Australian government will commence treaty negotiations with the First Peoples of Victoria in what the Premier has described as a chance to reset. The nation-leading process holds the promise of a genuine shift in relations that makes peace with a painful past, but there's a long way to go.
This is the day Aboriginal people have waited for. It's the first time an Australian government will start treaty negotiations with its Indigenous peoples.
Treaties are a bridge, not just between us and the state, but between the past and the future. That's what treaty is, a practical way to achieve practical change.
On Wurundjeri country at the Darebin Parklands, the occasion was marked with sacred business. Many mobs came together to begin the healing process.
Treaty will also spark many opportunities for everyone who calls Victoria home to come closer together.
At the top of their agenda, leaders will ask for a permanent body to have a powerful say in the laws and policies that impact their communities.
From today, statewide treaty will begin negotiations for systemic changes in 5 key areas that affect all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in Victoria.
We've taken the best from overseas models, but we're negotiating treaties to suit the local needs of a modern Victoria.
Today's promise has been a long time coming, especially for co-chairs of the First Peoples Assembly.
I do share some of Ruben's impatience.
But the wait would be even longer under a change of government because the opposition doesn't support it.
We don't believe treaty is the way to go.
For First Nations across the country, today marked a long realised dream. But there is still a long road ahead as Aboriginal leaders and the Victorian government begin the difficult task of negotiations. Both parties will need to agree on the best way to right the wrongs of the past, to continue closing the gap, and to walk forward as one.
The Senate has passed the government's overhaul of aged care funding after hours of parliamentary debate and months of intense negotiations between the two major parties. Labour ends the week on a high note, having also secured a deal on another bill, Zero, to ban children from accessing social media.
Wearing thin.
Order. You're warned.
But for a moment, the two major parties saw eye to eye on an issue they fear is defining a generation.
We know that social media is causing social harm.
Our laws will enable parents to say no.
The Coalition is saying yes to the federal government's teen social media ban.
It is of totemic significance in our community. We look forward to working constructively on this legislation with a view to seeing it pass through the Parliament next week.
The ban will trial age verification systems to block kids under 16 from using X, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook and Snapchat. But they'll still be able to use WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, YouTube and online gaming, which have all been granted an exemption.
This bill is complex and the approach we are taking is novel. Age assurance technology is not going to be 100% childproof, but we should not let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
Yeah. Details are still scant, but platforms will face fines of up to $50 million for systemic breaches of the law. In the Senate, crossbenchers called for more scrutiny.
This bill no doubt could be made better if we had more time to get it right.
But were forced to settle for a rapid-fire review, reporting back early next week. As the clock ticks down on this final sitting fortnight for the year, the Albanese government is gradually clearing its legislative logjam. Parliament's on its way to passing the teen social media ban, and late today, the Senate approved the biggest shake-up to aged care funding in decades. Once again, the Coalition backed the bill aimed at curbing ballooning budget costs. The bill boosts the number of in-home care packages, cuts wait times and guarantees full government funding for clinical care. But older Australians with the means will be asked to pay more towards their non-clinical care.
This is significant reform. For many, it has been years of work.
The changes are set to kick in mid-next year and, importantly, won't apply to anyone currently in aged care.
The new BPAS Mandir in Tela is an important meeting place for Canberra's growing Hindu population. It was the personal sacrifices from those within the community that have made this dream a reality.
Moved to Gungahlin from Perth 3 years ago. Living near the planned BAPS Mandir was a priority. So was raising money for the temple's construction.
So last year, when I was in year 11, I got 2 jobs. So the first one I applied to was a swim instructor at Aquatots. I was working there and donating 100% of my salary. And my tutoring teacher offered me a job at his place, and I accepted that as well.
Ashish donated the bonus he received when he got a new job.
That was a surplus fund for me. Me and my wife decided that we should be donating this because it will be helpful for our community.
The temple tells many more tales of sacrifice. Tejas recruited 12 people to take on commercial office cleaning contracts.
We did this project for 8 months. We contributed about 1,800 hours into the project and raised about $26,700 for the construction of the mandir.
And this room was built from money raised by young people like Pankti, who made $6,000 selling cupcakes.
We started selling in front of shops in Emery and Gungahlin, which is our locals. A lot of people who will come by, they see young people selling the cupcakes, selling cookies. They ask us questions like, what are you doing this for? And then we give a really good answer that we have our temple building, which is like our home.
The multi-million-dollar temple was completed earlier this year.
It was very overwhelming to see the temple finally being built, and it felt good to know that I had a part in it as well, so it felt really important to me.
When I moved here, I had a bit of worry that there is no temple in Canberra, but when I heard the news that temple is being built, and now me with my kid and my family can attend the temple every day, it's a great feeling.
Money well spent on a place that connects so many in this community.
And that ends the news segment. Over to you, Rex.
Thanks, Maricela. Join me after the break for your sports stories.
In its first 10 years, the PNG LNG project has had a long-lasting impact, contributing more than 26 billion kina to the state of Papua New Guinea. Equity distributions are paid to KPHL and MRDC based on the interest they hold. Tax is paid to the IRC, while development levy and royalties are paid to DPE. For more information on direct and indirect benefits, visit PNG EITI's website.
Rushing through her veins, she'll go deep. Randall, good enough. North away in the finals. Goody from 55, out in the pocket's got it again. Slots it through. And they do! Roma! Clear and steps Hansen and goes all the way! Stellar from Juan Cruz Mali!
Welcome back. Lake Tennis Club will be hosting its singles grand finals this Saturday at the Lake Gold Club. The tennis club completed its doubles finals on Monday night. First grand final match will see Lake Biscuit meet Bismarck Maritime in Division A. The two champion sides are expected to deliver a cracker of game in Division B. Express Freight players Dr. Vincent Dental House and Panamex squares up with Paradise Garments in Division C to round up the games. Presentations for the winners will follow. It's a crunch time for the top 8 slots in Port Moresby Corporate 9's Rugby League competition, round 7 at the Sir John Guy Stadium on Saturday night. A must-win for all the space getters to secure the top 8 sports playoffs and semi-finals next week, then the preliminary and grand finals on November 30th.
Teams will be out with all guns blazing this Saturday to keep their finals hopes alive for the top 8 cap playoff in the Port Moresby Corporate 9's Rugby League competition. After round 6, official points ladder sees National Capital District Commission on 16 points, South Cross Assurance Limited 16, AES 15, Carrier Consulting 15, Funeral Home Lama 14, Department of Finance Cobbler 14, Bank of South Pacific 13, Internal Revenue Commission 13, all on the top 8. And the National Airport Corporation on 12, MyBank 12, SpiderTech 12, with a slim chance of sneaking through. TISA 10, Express Freight Management 8, and National Procurement Commission Consulting, Funeral Home Laumas, Department of Finance, BSP, IRC, and right on the heels are NAC, MyBank, and SpiderTech placed below the top 8. In Pool A, the opening match of the regular round will see Clara Consulting take on Finance. This will be followed by SpiderTech versus NAC, and BSP will take on MyBank. Then Pool B will see Skell versus NCDC, IRC taking on AES, and EFM will play Funeral Home Lomas. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
The fan favourite Judah Rimbu has landed in England safely, making Castleford a new home. After signing a 2-year deal, Judah Rimbu's departure leaves a vacated Hunters hooker position. Wigman's ace Trevor Solu appears an ideal candidate to fill in the spot, but Hunters coach Paul Eiton confirms there are a handful of players raising their hands. With the departure of Judah Rimbu to Super League and Hunters veterans Junior Rope and Solomon Wane to France Rugby League, spots have opened up for players to fill. Of the three, the hooker role remains an interesting one. Rimbu proved a crucial player in the Hunters team in recent years with his leadership, the spark he provides out from dummy half, and the ability to dart out from ruck to score and create opportunities for the team. While admitting the Hunters will miss his service, coach Paul Eiton said there are some good players ready to fill the void.
You know, I know Maria and both Sonny both throwing their hands up to possibly play a half position too, so it's really good to have that variety and the choice selection, so I'm pretty happy about that. But then we've got, got young junior Kumals hookers coming, we've got Lynchen from Hagen Eagles as well. Even, Josh Murray is pushing for a half spot as well. Jamie's got a keepy spot. We've got Josh Lau coming back. Both fullbacks have put their hands up to play half. So then we've got Bradley's coming along as well. So we've got, quite a few positions and age variety to pick from. So we're in a good spot at the moment.
Coaching Hella Wigman ace Trevor Solu has been with the Hunters in the last 2 seasons and is looking to be a certain candidate to replace Rimbu. He has been a consistent player for the Wigmen in the Digital ExxonMobil Cup and has House Plus Cup game experience. But the Hunters coach tossed some possible reshuffle with both fullbacks, Sonny Wabo and Morea Jr. capable of playing at 9. The form of Finley Glare this year can get him regular spot at hook as well. While Solo remains a likely replacement, Eiton said the position will not be handed. It must be earned.
Tapia has always been in the mix to play hooker, but I think Finley's also he can play both, but I'd like to keep him as hooker. He enjoys playing hooker as well. So there's still a lot of fights for the positions, which is a really good thing to push the boys. So it's not really handed to you. You don't just get it handed to you. So.
Coach Eiton confirmed the former Hunters number 9 landed safely in England for the 2025 Super League season. Rope and Wane are still in the country sorting out their visas. 2 members of the Junior Kumul squad who have been recruited to the Hunters train-on squad are embracing their time in the pre-season camp under coach Paul Eiton. Bradley Orosambo and Vane Manuma are appreciative of the opportunity and vow to learn as much as they can during the pre-season. Bradley Orosambo and Vane Manuma broke onto rugby league scene when they ran out in the Junior Kumul's colours against Australian schoolboys team in the recent Prime Minister's 13 games in Port Moresby. The duo pulled a fair game. They impressed the Hunter selectors and made the Hunters pre-season squad. For Orosambo, it all unfolded so fast. In July, Orosambo was part of the Lay NRL Bid Academy team playing in Goroka and won the inaugural program. 3 months later, he is in the Hunters camp. Orosambo could not believe how fast things have happened for him.
The journey was quite fast. I wasn't expecting this. I thought I was going to slowly climbing the ladders and come bit by bit, but it was so fast for me to come this far.
The lad from Lay has shown so much potential in his games. Glimpses of his potential were seen when he partnered with Gairo Voro in the junior Kumuls, playing halfback where they drew 22-all against Aussie schoolboys. The towering Central Dabaris prop Vane Manuma, on the other hand, has a handful of Digicel ExxonMobil Cup games experience under his belt, playing for Central Dabaris. He gets his debut under the good mentorship of very experienced Solomon Kuluniasi. He earned his Hunters call-up. Manuma has received praise from rugby league fans, mostly for his build. He is considered by many as an ideal modern-day forward. He is tall, strong and has got talent. Manu expressed gratitude to have been given this opportunity as someone who couldn't make it far in school.
I'm in school place now, 12 years old. They did not make pass here. School like let's do a mad at him. I go on him and at him. I lost school fee in a kind of. I mean, interest for me. I mean, play rugby. Opportunity come within some 2 years of me play for the Result Cup. Now opportunity come now, me just come training 1 time Hunters.
Hunters coach Paul Aiton praised the duo and the way they have progressed in their training, although there is still a long way to go for the young men. Aiton further commended the young players in the Hunters pre-season training camp. Rex Litter, TVWAN Sports. The Solomon Islands government, in partnership with Oceania Rugby and the Solomon Islands Rugby Union Federation, will host the 2024 Oceania Sevens tournament in Honiara from December 7th to 8th. This is the first time that the region's premier rugby tournament will be held outside of Fiji, New Zealand, Australia and Samoa, and it follows the successful 2023 Pacific Games in Honiara.
The 2024 Oceania Sevens tournament will draw elite rugby talent from across the Pacific and beyond, and will serve as a key qualification event for global tournaments with 2 men's teams and a women's team earning spots in the World Rugby Sevens Challenge Series. Solomon Islands Prime Minister Jeremiah Manele expressed his pride in the announcement, noting the significance of hosting such a major international event. Prime Minister Manele said the Solomon Islands government is deeply humbled to be partners with Oceania Rugby to host the event in Honiara in December 2024. Oceania Rugby President Richard Sapias highlighted the importance of expanding the tournament's reach to new host nations like the Solomon Islands. On behalf of Oceania Rugby, Sapias extended deepest gratitude to Solomon Islands government for its remarkable vision and foresight in bringing the Oceania Sevens to Honiara, because it speaks volumes about the dedication and to grow the game in the Oceania region. President of Solomon Islands Rugby Union Executive Board, George Tamua, expressed his excitement about the upcoming tournament and its significance for the local rugby community. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
Cairns Saints AFL Club are thrilled to announce the signing of PNG Mosquitoes dynamic midfielder Hapeo Bobogi for season 2025. Despite missing out in the AFL Pacific Cup due to injury, he's been very consistent playing at the domestic competition. He's been a standout performance for the 2024 Premier's Gero Magpies. Hapeo had a few stints at the QAFL, including Gold Coast Suns Academy, that also played a part in exposing his incredible talent. His inclusion in the Saints squad is a major boost for the club, and they aim to continue their strong performance in the new season. Hapio is a regular member of the PNG Mosquitoes squad and renowned for his exceptional skills and athleticism. PNG AFL's rising young superstar and Mosquitoes whiz kid David Sevara continued his top goal-kicking form at the inaugural AFL Pacific Cup Championships at the Sunshine Coast, Queensland, Australia. The Mosquitoes forward was the main man behind the national team's back-to-back wins, pocketing 2 goals against New Zealand on Wednesday and 3 goals against Nauru on Thursday at the Maroochydore Multi-Sports Complex.
PNG Mosquitoes' David Severa's outstanding form did not go unnoticed, with coach Douglas Lai crediting the speedster for his outstanding play in the goal-kicking department, especially at the crucial stages of the Mosquitoes' last 2 hitouts against the New Zealand Falcons and the Nauru Chiefs. The young Kerama genius has also set a new record for a debutant at the international arena with 7 goals in a single tournament. Previous record was 2 goals. The tough weather conditions may have slowed down PNG free-flowing game, but having used to more horrendous conditions back home, the boys adapted well to hang on until full time against arch-rivals New Zealand on Wednesday. Coach Lai said some of the boys picked up a few minor injuries from the Falcons match and had to call upon the extended bench for the Nauru match. Despite of the unfavorable weather conditions, the Mosquitoes have been impressive and showed a lot of determination and picking up a lot of confidence as the tournament continues heading into the finals this weekend. At the completion of the regular round of matches, the 2 top teams, PNG and Nauru, will now face off in an epic inaugural AFL Pacific Cup decider 2:30 p.m. this Saturday at the Maroochydore Multi-Sports Complex. Meanwhile, in the women's competition, PNG Flames will face off with Tonga for the 3rd and 4th placings. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
That wraps up the sports segment. Maricela.
Thanks, Rex. We'll now have the weather forecast. Southern, scattered showers and thunderstorms with areas of rain, potential heavy rain over Oro and inland of Central Province with possible flooding. Port Moresby, mostly cloudy with rain showers and thunderstorm. Kerama, partly cloudy with rain showers and possible thunderstorm. Momase, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms with areas of rain. Lae, partly cloudy with some rain showers. Wewak, partly cloudy with periods of rain showers and possible thunderstorm. New Guinea Islands, scattered showers and thunderstorms with areas of rain, potential heavy rain over New Ireland and southern coast of West New Britain with possible flooding. Lorengau, mostly cloudy with periods of rain and showers and possible thunderstorm. Highlands, scattered showers and thunderstorms with areas of rain. Mendi, Tari and Wabeg, cloudy with periods of rain showers and possible thunderstorm. Coral Seas, seas moderate to rough with east to southeast winds of 20 to 33 knots. Solomon Sea, seas smooth with northeast to southeast winds of 5 to 10 knots. Bismarck Sea, seas smooth with northeast to easterly winds of 5 to 10 knots. And Pacific Ocean, seas smooth with easterly to northeast winds of 5 to 10 knots. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border to Daru to Kiwai Islands to Kerama to Yule Island to Hood Point to Samarai Islands, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters, rising to 2.5 to 3 meters over warning areas. Waters of Samarai Island to Cape Bogle and all Milne Bay Islands, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters, rising to 2 meters along Samarai Island to Sudest, Rossel Islands at times. And waters of Finchafen through Vitia Strait to CSE Long Island, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. That ends the news tonight. Have a pleasant evening. Bye for now.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.